Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be talking about the performance of our solar system and how much money we've saved with our little 4800 watt system. So this is the setup at my parents'. We have 4800 watts of total solar input with 2400 coming from these six 400 watt panels right here and also 16 150 watt cylinders in the back. And they all feed one EG 6500EX, the inverter, and they are also tethered to, uh, forget, approximately 25 kilowatt hours of battery. All right, with that little intro out of the way, let's go ahead and look at some graphs. So this is called Solar Assistant. This is a little kind of add-on software to help us keep track of the solar intake and the battery consumption and things of that nature. So how to read this is, here we have different icons. This stands for the inverter. This is how much solar is coming in. This is how much power is coming from the grid. And this over here is the battery. Now on the upper left-hand corner, this over here is how much load is being drawn from the system. This is how much solar is coming in. So I took the screenshot at night. Of course, at night there's no solar, so um, all of the power feeding the system is coming from the battery set. So as you can see, the load is only 1057, but the battery load is a little higher because you have to account for the fact that the inverter also draws some power, and that's not accounted for. And this middle pane here, this is simply a graphical representation. So whenever you see red, that means utility has kicked in. And I have my inverter set up to where it'll utilize solar first and then battery. And once the battery reaches a certain threshold, I think I set it at 51 volts, it then goes to battery, and also we then go to utility, in other words. So we then start relying on utility. So you can see how, like, at night, even though it's nighttime, it's still drawing quite a bit of power. And that's the reason that's happening. Now the blue, as you can see, during the day we keep our mini split air conditioner on, and it has a healthy draw, and most of it comes from the sun. So I took this screen grab because I think this was on July. Was it yesterday? Well, anyway, it was on one of the better days, and you could see the bell curve, or the perfect parabola, almost perfect, that comes from a day's worth of sun. Even though the sun rises at like 8 o'clock and sets around 8 o'clock, you could see that most of the power in the early mornings and early evenings and the early mornings are insufficient for powering anything significant. So anyway, continuing on the right hand pane, we have this is the state of the battery power. So when it's in the green, it means the battery is being charged, and when it's in the pink, that means it's discharging. Now this bottom pane, the lower right hand corner, this is just the state of charge of the battery. This is the actual. No, this is just a percentage. This is based on an inverter. It's not very accurate, so I won't rely on that too much. Continuing on. So I wanted to highlight this slide because this is a comparison between 2 days of solar gain. You can see here, we have a consistent power draw from the air conditioner, but the sun only comes in, during the daytime. And now on the left-hand side, this is a very good day, very even, balanced kind of solar irradiance. Whereas on the right-hand side, you could tell the sun was very strong, but there was a lot of clouds in the sky, and as a result, you get a lot of these jagged kind of pattern. And I never realized this before I started doing solar, but I didn't realize how much the clouds affected, your solar gain. So I suppose this is why like the conventional wisdom is to just estimate 5.5 hours of solar, depending on where you are, of course. But here in Florida, we're at 26 degree latitude, so we're 26 degrees north of the equator, and this is the kind of performance we're getting here in mid-July. Continuing on, here's just another log of how much load. The first column here shows the amount of power we've consumed from our system, the load. The solar PV shows you the total gain that's been taken in. Of course, you got to take into account the fact that it's not a perfectly efficient system. So even, assuming we don't use anything at all, there will be some conversion losses. And here's how much the battery's been charged and how much the battery has discharged, so on and so forth. And here's this column just shows you how much power we pull from the grid to kind of supplement the system. All right, here's the fun part. So this is a yearly consumption chart provided by the utility. So you can see every month they keep track of how much electricity and how much money we've paid. And this time last year, July 2023, we used up about 2,000 kilowatt hours. And because of the experiment, this time around, future, here we go. So July 2023, we've consumed approximately $326 of electricity. And last month, we pulled it down to $130. So we've halved our kind of consumption, but because our local utility, the Florida Power and Light, they bill based on like a tiered approach, whereas like you pay for a set amount, at the base rate, but once you cross a certain threshold, I think, then you have to pay more as the more that you use. So yeah. So what was it before? Let's do a quick review. So 326 down to 129. So almost $200, like $180 of savings. So yeah, that's very encouraging. I wasn't expecting for it to work so well, and now that it has, I'm very, very encouraged. Now this right here is the daily consumption from last year. All right, this is 23. Now you can see from this chart, every day before the new system, the solar system, was implemented, we were drawing between like 50 to here, going up to like 90. So between like 50 and 70 kilowatt hours per day. And now with the solar system, we're averaging below 50 consistently. And if you average this thing out, we're probably averaging like 30 kilowatts of consumption every day, which is notably better than before. So now here's an intraday look at the hour per hour use. This is from last year. And as to be expected, during the night when the temperature is lower, the AC doesn't kick on. But then once, the morning kicks in and the noon, once that sun gets cranking, it heats up the house and the air conditioner starts cranking. And at its peak, we're drawing like 5 kilowatts per hour, And now this is the new system with the solar. So you could see, because of the solar assist, we've kind of crunched down the numbers in the middle of the day and kind of drag it out to where the hourly consumption doesn't exceed more than 2,500 watts or 2.5 kilowatts. So yeah, this solar stuff is pretty amazing. And if you have the time or the wherewithal to put up with all this stuff. It's good fun, good times, and it's very very rewarding. So I hope this video helps you, inspires you to look into solar and head towards the rabbit hole of free electricity. Right. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye.